All right. Good morning, everyone. Let me repeat what I just said. I'm sorry I started the recording a little bit late. But I was sharing with the class that number one, for attendance wise, with the mobility of having virtual conference and those that are hybrid in the classroom, takes a little bit of time of adjusting and taking, especially when I can't see who it is that's in the office. I appreciate that you come in the classroom, check in with me in the morning so that I can mark you off on attendance. Any excuse absence or whether you need to be on virtual conference or in the classroom, if you can please email student support. They are the one who manages all of that excuse absence, not me. So as much as I want to see you in the classroom so we can join in our discussion, um, thank you for letting me know, but also you need to check in with student support. Secondly, for your discussions that you're posting, please post it on a document and when you post so that I can actually read through it. It's difficult to, I have an echo, so I don't know if on your side. Sultan, if you, I think that I can hear myself an echo. Maybe you can mute yourself.
Yeah, we hear you too, like twice.
I don't even already like myself. I don't want to hear myself twice. But what was I saying? Okay, the discussion question. I'm working with academics to figure out how to grade your assignments. I'm actually looking at your work, but not able to grade it. So just be patient. We will catch up with that as soon as possible. And I will give you an update on that, okay? But continue to do your work, submit it, because it's time-stamped for me. So appreciate that. Okay. All right. Okay, well, let me see. There's 11 of us online. That's a good number to start with. All right, good morning, everyone. I had a thought that I always do in my classrooms, and I wanted to also do it here at IAU. The reason why we go into classes is number one, part of your interest of your degree requirements. But what it really should mean is that you have an interest in this path of knowledge and specialty that you want to go into. A lot of the classes that are assigned to you are specific to your degree, but also classes that you normally would take that maybe you don't really consider that, like, how is this specialized in my degree? One of the things in higher education is that we want to make sure that our graduates are very well-rounded. What does that mean? It means that you are an expertise in your subject matter, but you'll also be able to navigate into other territories like communication, critical thinking. And so one of the things that we could do as a classroom is take that information that we've learned, what are we going to do with it? Our work is to be the eyes and ears of the world, right? When we go out and doing our life, some of the things that we learn or information that we acquire, we make it useful for ourselves. And I'm sure you're not sitting here hours and doing homework just to have fun, just to, like a puzzle. But even a puzzle has a benefit, right? When we do a puzzle, for me, I like doing puzzles. It helps me to calm my mind down. And I could still do a puzzle and have a conversation with a friend or my family, even though I'm working. So even a puzzle, sitting down to do a puzzle has a benefit. So what I wanted to point out today is through the lens of accounting, when you're out and about in the world, when we start class, I want to have a discussion with you of your last week. What did you see out there that related to accounting? What did you do that related to accounting, right? That way we know that there's also exercise of being able to see through the lens of financial related to accounting. Same thing as communication. When you take a communication class, all that you're acquiring information is, you should be able to take that information and then assess, okay, this person is communicating in such a way that this is how I should respond. Or maybe this is how maybe they're saying something, but that's really not what they're communicating to you, right? So does that make sense? So that's what I like to do, just to warm up the class, get our thinking caps on, really reminding ourselves, like, why the heck are we doing accounting? I mean, is it just moving numbers one column to another and make sure you balance at the end? Yeah, it functions that way, but there should be a purpose behind it, okay? So with that being said, I'm just gonna pick, okay? And if you have been vocal in class, I so much appreciate you, but I would like to hear from those that have not said anything in this class in the last 2 weeks ago. So please join in your conversation. The more that everyone speaks, the more that we can learn from one another. And it makes my work interesting. I don't want to hear myself talk all the time. I mean, I want to hear you guys. And in the way that you think, and maybe we can clarify, we can learn something new. That much makes a much better learning environment, and makes time go by much faster. All right. So with that being said, tell me about your weekend or this past week. What did you do, or what did you see out there that you can apply in your accounting class that you saw? Right. I can tell you for myself. I'll start first. Okay. So this past week, I had a deposit go into my bank. When I read the deposit, the label that came through, I had no idea where it's coming from. It said international, but I truly did not know where. I checked that. I checked my checks and balances, but it was relabeled wrong, coming in as a wire, but it wasn't. It was just a direct deposit. And so, not that I was alarmed, but it made me stop what I was doing to check out what this deposit was, because it was quite of a large amount that I wasn't expecting. So how does that relate to accounting? Well, when you're receiving things, just as things are going out, when you're receiving things that it was a mistake or you weren't anticipating, it should be just as alarming, right? So that was me this past week. Why do I want to hear from you? Because it's a muscle. A lot of time people tell me, oh, I'm really not financially, I'm not really in the, I don't really like math, or I don't like finance, or whatever. This has really nothing to do whether you're good or not. It's through the lens of information coming into you, and you could be alerted. Just like when you're having a conversation with friends, right? Or maybe your professors. Why are they communicating in a way where you feel it's aggressive, maybe intimidating, but they're really not, right? So that's a communication skill that you learn. Well, same thing as your financial skills. How are you using it out and about in your life? So that being said, anybody have something to share? I'm sure money is moving around you every day.
I'm just want to ask you, what, for example, in your case, when you're getting a money, and for example, you don't know from where is it? Like, for example, someone send you money is for a mistake. You
Yeah.
need to say to the bank, looks like you need to call and say that someone sent me money, or how it looks like, because maybe, for example, maybe it's not a big amount and you didn't check this, like it didn't match this, just paying someone going, and then is it possible that bank or someone else will find you because you like accept not like not your deposit or not your money. How it looks here?
Well, I need to check my record first and see. But your next step you should be doing is to call your bank and say, I just received a deposit. It's still pending. I wasn't expecting one. Can you give me more information? So the bank could actually give you more information on maybe the institution that is making the deposit for you. So they can give you more information than what you can see on your app or even on your statement. But it shouldn't be on your statement yet if it just happened, right? Because statements have a cycle before it's issued.
Yeah.
So the real principle here, Natalia, is that you need to be checking your transaction often. I'm not saying you have to do it every day. Maybe you could even go with every other week, but you need to look. You know why? Mistakes happen. We can't depend on electronic all the time. But even you asked me 2 days ago, what did I eat or what did I do? I have to think back and even remember because our world is going so fast. We have to check in a period of time when we can look back, right? There's always a record. A record is served as for us to know. But sometimes records are not always in our favor, right? Oh, you received a deposit. Well, that wasn't mine. Well, it's been 2 months and you haven't even noticed, right? So we have to have a process that you're looking at. Maybe it's every Sunday, maybe it's every Friday night. You just need to make a decision so that you're consistent. I can tell you that money gets deposited into the wrong account all the time because we still do hand writing. Not my account, but my mother's account. Her last digit of her account is 3, but the lady who helped her write it, the way she wrote it, it looked like an 8. My mom had been getting deposit on record. She's been getting a deposit, but it hasn't been going into her account. Do you know that that was happening for at least, I want to say 8 months? And it took at least 5 years to correct. Actually, it didn't even get corrected. She never got the money until they go back to the person who they deposit. Now, that person, like you were saying, Natalia, hey, if you get a deposit that's not yours, should you call the bank and notify them? That's the right thing to do. That's the best practice to do, right?
Yeah.
But how many people do you actually think? I mean, it's usually when money leaves that they call, but when money's coming in, they're like, oh, send me deposit. I'm just going to use it, right? Spend it. Well, in this case, my mother's account, whoever they were receiving was just cashing it out. I mean, never called, never. It wasn't until we filed a claim because it was my mother's benefit. It's her retirement money that was going in. So they kept saying that they've been depositing, so my mom's waiting, but she waited 8 months. I can tell you that the money never came back. The bank had to do they're still investigating, but I think she got like a partial settlement from an error. So they had to go back and notice that the lady that helped her wrote the number that was not able, that was inputted incorrectly. So things like that happen, right? So, I mean, what are you going to do? You just have to be able to not wait 8 months. But my mom, she has a second, English is not even her main language. So it was difficult to her, right? So especially when we have a second language, we actually need to be more diligent. Okay. Thank you for your question. No? Anyone else out there? Did anybody get overcharged on something? Did anybody lose track of money, or did anyone have to do a currency exchange?
I do.
Who's this?
I
Who's
track
Hi, Mohammed.
Mohammed. How you doing?
Good. Okay, what's yours? What happened?
So yeah, I track my money like even though I have the records in my account, uh, even that I track my money. I write them in my notes like whatever I spent because sometimes I spend with the cash amount and
Mhm.
sometimes different cards. So even though it's just for my practice, I keep doing it every day night, whatever I spent in this day. And
Okay.
yeah, and this thing I learned it from my mother. Like she told me, even though you have records, all the technologies, just keep it in your mind that whenever you think to give an accountant, like give the balance, you should know where did you spend, where the money went. So it keeps me practice my brain, and then let me memorize whatever I did this month, you know.
Yeah. Good. Practicing your muscle. It is a good practice to do that. Okay, so I'm gonna do a test right now. Okay, I'm gonna ask a question. We're gonna go with the honor system. Okay, how much money do you know that is cash in your wallet right now? Who knows the amount? I can
Not the
tell you
exact, but I could say
because if someone steals your wallet or your purse and they say, "How much cash do you have in there?" What is your answer? Do you know it? I can tell
uh,
you. I can tell you mine only because I checked it yesterday because I was short money when I went to the market. Anyway, I only have like $4, four $1 bills. So if somebody takes
I
my
can say
purse,
round figure.
yeah.
Yeah, but not exact because like I do also cash transactions sometimes.
Hmm.
So you know, changes come in and out. That's why.
Right. In and out.
Hmm.
Anyone else know how much cash they have in their wallet?
I know. Usually,
Oh,
I know.
exactly. Okay, usually you know. Good. Good.
Because like it's not common. I always have a cash in my wallet because my husband haven't. If someone wants to steal something from him, it's impossible because he never never use cash. As example, we previously like, live in Belarus, and
Hmm.
in maybe during these 3 years, he saw the like how the money looks maybe twice because he didn't even recognize. He paid by card everywhere and by phone. It's impossible for him like to to steal something from him.
Because you only use digital. But you know, there's more businesses now that either go with 100% cash only, or they'll go 100% digital, right?
Yeah.
So nowadays, when I walk in, especially when I go into like a Chinatown or somewhere smaller businesses, I have to actually ask them before, "Hey, do you take cards?" Because I can't assume that they do.
I have an example. In Germany usually.
Hmm.
It's a problem during the evening or during the weekend. Um, it's not a problem, but just need to remember that if you pay by card, the bank will take some I don't
A
know,
percent, a
process.
service fee, yeah, processing.
Yes, service fee, and it's not corrected by the law. So you can pay, for example, €2 for a gum, and you will take €5 extra.
Mhm.
And you just need to remind about this, and it's a good idea to take cash and to pay by cash only because of this.
Yeah. Actually, now that you brought that up, Natalia, this is what I think. I want to see what you guys think, okay? For businesses, especially the ones that open later at night, I think that after a certain evening time, to clear out your cash bin and take card only, even if you have to pay a service fee, whether you transfer to your customer or you pay it yourself, it should be a best practice to do that. Here's my justification. For me to pay maybe 1 or 2% service charge, I think it's worth it for the safety of my employees to pay that fee and know that there's no cash. What do you guys think? I mean, think about it in your balance sheet. It's going to be an extra expense, right? But you probably save a lot, heck of a expense on other categories, like insurance, things like that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Think that is a best practice?
Digital, yes, if you don't want to hide money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, think about that 1 second. Hang on 1 second here. I'll be right back. I think the mail. I'm in San Diego. It is super windy. I am kind of afraid that if it's going to impact my signal. Anyone? Is it super windy where you guys are? It is very windy here in San Diego. So, anyway, any other thoughts to that? Quiet class. All right. Well, let me see. I actually have something I wanted to share with you guys. If I can. I'm going to share a picture with you guys, okay? I want you to tell me how to use it. Explain to me how to use it. Okay. Well, I just have to. I'm sorry, I have to share my whole window. Okay. Can you guys see this? Can you see this photo? I can't tell. I'm
Yeah,
sharing my screen, so I don't know what
we
you
can.
guys.
Yeah, we can see us.
Okay, you can see you. Can you see the photo I shared?
No.
No. Oh no. Oh, okay. That's not the photo then. I'm sure there's an easier way for me to do this. Okay, that should have taken off, right? Okay. I'm gonna try share this, but okay. Can you see it now?
No, not yet.
Still no picture?
Yeah.
Oh, so annoying. Okay. It should have no share right now, right?
Yeah. You're not sharing any.
I'm just gonna pull something online. It's not the picture I want, but it's not even about the picture. You guys will look at it and see. Um, Oh my God, I'm seeing stuff flying outside my window, you guys. That is. Okay, well, it's the best I can do because it's so slow on the. Okay, like I said, it's not about the picture, it's what it is. Can you see what it is?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, great. Tell me what it is and how to use it. Anyone?
Someone used in church, someone previously used for reading, for example. I remember my grandmother said that she had read with the help of candle
Okay,
many
so it's a
times
candle.
ago.
Natalia, it's a candle, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Tell me how you use it.
now just for fun, because we have a lot of aromatized candle, and we just light them on and relax.
Okay, you light it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else anyone want to tell me how to use it?
Is there a way that you want us to answer?
Just like simple, like the first thought, like if I've never known, if I was a child and
Mm.
I'm like, what is this and how do you use it? And what would
Oh,
you say?
And everyone use for the different purpose. Like some people use in the church in
Okay.
front of God. Some people use for the lightning. Some people use for fragrance because the candles come in a different fragrance also.
Good
yeah.
point.
For us, going back to our country in our province, there used to be a blackout. So at night, if there's a blackout, we use the candle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else we can say about it? So this is not the picture I wanted. The picture I wanted to show you was just really just a whole bunch of candles. But when I click on it, I think because I'm recording and we have videos on, I think it's just a little slow. So it's a little bit frustrating to me. But nevertheless, I just wanted to show you a picture of candles, right? And I wanted to ask you, what is it? And tell me how to use it. Why? Why am I doing that? Did you know that candles have different sizes, right? There's the tea lights, there's the votive, there's the pillars. Sultan, if you can please mute out. But not everyone knows this. Let me see if I can mute him. But I don't know if everybody knows to truly how to use a candle is a lot like accounting, okay? The different sizes of the candles determines you have to predetermine how long you want to burn it for. Usually the tea ones, the small ones, they burn for 1 to 2 hours. The votives, the next one up, 2 to 4 hours. But the one that people mix up the most is the pillar round one. You know, the round 3-inch candles. Okay. Tulin, can you please mute out?
See you then.
Tulin, please mute out if you're going to have a phone call in my class. So, as I was saying, you have to predetermine before you light the candle how long you need the candle for. Many people make this mistake, okay? Or maybe they do it intentional, I don't know. But for example, the 3-inch candle, each inch represents 1 hour. So when you decide that, okay, I'm going to light it now and I'm going to leave at least 3 hours, then that would be an appropriate candle. But if you're going to do less than that, you can use the tea ones or the votives. But the longer and the bigger they are, that is a predetermined time that you need to burn it at. Why? Right? Because if you don't do that, you will have what they call candle tunneling. Have you guys seen candle tunneling? Candle tunneling is that when you burn it, and now you have this hollow burn all the way through, and you waste all the wax around it because you're using the wrong one to light it. So let's say you use a 3-inch candle and you burn it for an hour. So what happens is you get a candle tunnel. It burns just the middle all the way through every time. Usually people just throw away the wax, or some maybe they be more efficient. They'll melt the wax and then re-pour it in for something to reuse that candle again, especially if it's an expensive candle. Have you guys seen this or have you experienced this? You know what I'm talking about? I wish I could send you the picture, but moving back and forth in the picture is not working. Called candle tunneling.
Yeah, I think.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Christian, you know what I'm talking about?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to use that as an example to tie it in. So at least when you see a candle, like, oh, I know how to, which candle I need to use ahead. But more importantly is that when we can associate something with an application, it's much easier for us to remember, okay? In accounting or financial analysis or financial records, You have to think ahead. Many times I have clients that don't necessarily think about their financials or their accounting purposes until it's a little bit too late. Not that it's not fixable, it's just going to take them longer. Okay. So let's just say that you have a business and you want to buy a building for that business or just to buy a building. Okay. You actually, if you want to buy a building today, you should have planned that maybe 2 years or 3 years ago. But if you want to buy a building 2 or 3 years from now, you need to plan it today. Okay. The reason why is when you plan it, you can maximize your options or your resources on how you manage your accounting will fit into the purpose that you want on building a purchase or even expansion or even selling the company. To pre-plan it, at least I say about 2 to 3 years ahead of time before you actually execute. Okay. That way you can maximize what you have. Just like the candle. If you're not thinking ahead and you keep taking a 3-inch pillar and keep burning it, guess what? You're going to end up with all that excess of wax because it's just all it is. It's just going to burn the center. And I don't know how people see how important it is when we're planning. I mean, even when we walk outside, leave our house, we want to make sure, okay, where am I going? Am I going to spend money? Do I need the cash or should I bring a card, right? Those are some of those steps that we take every day, but we may not think about it in a sense of, oh, I'm pre-planning because we're just reactive, right? A lot of times as we deal with our money, we're just reactive. Oh, I need this, I'm going to buy it, right? Versus planning it. Especially the bigger the ticket item, the more planning you need to do that. So the everyday things, accidental, impulsive buy, you have maybe a budget for spending, not necessarily allocated, but that's every day. And businesses will have that as well. But in order to plan something bigger, something more significant to move you in that direction, again, that pre-planning is so important. Not just for you, but the people that work for you, the people that are helping you, your consultants, your banker, your lender, your investors, right? So I wanted to just tie the different size candles and how you use it, because the application is when you look at the candle, you're thinking, oh, what is it? Well, it's candles and you light it up for light. People use it for different applications, but now I hope that when you see the different candles that you can actually tie it to a prepared planning. Okay. That will always be able to help you, and the outcome of that will always be a better for you. So a lot of time, I would probably say 80% of my clients that I help can't achieve what they really wanted to when they came to me, because now we have to wait. We have to put all these other alignments in order to get them the best outcome. And time is expensive, right? We all have a certain amount of time. The longer, sometimes when we wait, things change. Interest rates change, the market change. Maybe if you wanted to buy something, the property's not available. So it's so important that I tell you these things, because the textbook doesn't necessarily tell you. These are all things that are happening in the world, or experiences that you're coming through that don't emphasize so much, especially in accounting textbook. It's so technical. I mean, you've been doing the last 2 weeks assignment. Even when I'm looking through, it's so technical about, payroll. Where do you put that? Like you're applying it on a spreadsheet, being able to identify the activity, applying it on your accounting equation for an outcome. All those things are happening so much And quite frankly, for myself, in working with the end product, the customer, the decision making, all those things that you're having to decide right now on your assignments, those are all what I consider muscle activation. Like you're just realizing that you're having to make a decision with all these different activity that the textbook's having you do, all technical, okay? But it leads up to the one thing that's important is where you are and where you want to get to, okay? All of that. So your assignments are important. It brings in terminology. It brings you awareness on some of the things that happen in business that maybe you don't know about. Of course, you know about payroll, but do you always know about liability insurance? Do you always know about an investor that wants to cash their money out that they've given you? How do you see that happening? How do you see the movement of that money within your organization or even with the company that you're going to work for, right? Be that person that understands, even no matter what your role is. Maybe you don't deal with the bookkeeping every day for your company, but because you understand the process, you will always be a more valuable person within your organization. Okay? Gives you a different lens to where the company's going. And I almost want to say that not only that it gives you a better lens, it gives you a better predictor. Better predictor where your company's going gives you a better decision on whether you should stay with the company or not, right? If they're having trouble every time payroll comes and they're giving you notice, payroll's having, I mean, that's an obvious predictor, right? But when companies are telling you that they are wanting to grow and all you see are cuts, maybe you should investigate a little bit more. These are all clues that can give you a better predictor on what direction maybe your organization or your organization that you're working with, where they're headed. So that's the part that I love about accounting, that relates to financial analysis, that relates to a better decision, that relates to something that you can already see ahead. And I think that's the power of where it is. So if you are discouraged with getting your textbook, I know some of you are having a hard time getting textbook. If you are discouraged about posting, discouraged about understanding the assignments, I'm going to tell you what, it's okay. You do need to do it to meet the requirements of the class, but it doesn't change the fact that knowing and understanding what we're talking about in class, it's going to be okay to be able to utilize this information for your benefit. And I think some of you are already doing it. I mean, we're all adults. And so even when I said, in the beginning of class, what's your eyes and ears to the world? What's going on that relates to you, world of finances and accounting and, how does that all play? You're doing it every day, whether you know it or not. I know with some of the emails I'm getting, there's some concerns, stress, I'm not. I just have to get you through this 8 weeks as best as I can, understanding the most that you can and completing the most assignments that you can. Because this is just another step to completing your degree, but it doesn't define your knowledge of accounting, okay? Now, the more you can do it, the more versed you are. I mean, some of you are sending in your assignments. I'm thinking like, wow, perhaps you are doing bookkeeping or whatnot already, right? I mean, sometimes I have to step back and ask myself, okay, this activity, I'm not sure where it goes, right? We all have to figure, I mean, there's really no stop in learning on how money moves. Heck, the Federal Reserve right now, for the U.S. Federal Reserve, they're still trying to figure out what they're doing with money. I can say they've been printing too much. Maybe that's a consideration for them. Maybe they do need to go back to their account, right? But I just wanted to alleviate any stress, concern I do want you to get your textbook as soon as you can so that you can catch up, because nobody wants to, do 3 weeks of work in a weekend. And it's not possible. I just think that when you do that, trying to cram everything in, you won't be able to retain information. So I hope that the conversations that we discover, asking questions, things that I can share with you, things that I can attach a thought with, um, that you will leave with that. As far as the accounting book, if you bought it, you're going to always have it with you. So when you do go through some um, experiences where you need to figure out how to calculate this, number one, a bookkeeper who's been managing your books would know a lot more of where to put that. And if you really do need the answer, you can always find out. But the class is not about the assignments, okay? You doing your homework is just a way of retaining information. That makes sense? I can say this, I've been teaching for 5 years, but I've been a student for the last, I don't know, I returned back to school for the last 12, 13 years. But prior to that, I went to, K through 12. I had a long gap. I didn't return back to school until, let's see, 2000, probably a good 20 years before I came back to school after I graduated high school. And then when I came back, I was in it for another 12, 13 years. So there's just not a way of retaining information, except if you're that gifted person where everything you read you can retain. Hey, I say that's amazing, good for you, but I'm not that person. For me, I always need discussions. I always need practical examples. I always need to know where I can get information if I need information. But anything that I can talk about, discuss, relate to, I remember it more. And I'm thinking that that's how you guys are too. But that's the type of instructor I am. Let's, if we can share a story, if we can talk about the concepts and apply it, the better. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to give you guys a break. Let's see here. It's 10. Let's have a break till 10:15. Yeah. All right. I
All
would
right.
like to request that you guys be a little bit more active. I don't like to hear myself talk. Okay. So with that being said, I will check in with you at 11. I'm sorry, not 11. 10:15. Okay. Give you guys a 15-minute break.
All right, God. Thank you, Prof.
Thanks, Christian. Those of you that came in late to class in the classroom, if you can check in with me so I can mark you off attendance. All right. All right. Thanks, guys. Otherwise, you're excused for 15 minutes. I'll see you back at 10:15. Anybody in LA that can give me an update on the winds up there? It's crazy in San Diego right now. I just went outside to pick up some stuff and secure things down so they don't blow away.
In LA, it's pretty good, sunny and
No wind?
clear, no wind.
Well, I
It
guess it's here in San Diego.
it was windy yesterday in the evening, like near the Universal. Really
Oh,
windy.
it's so bad right now. You actually have to wear a mask outside. That's how dusty it is right now. I know what I'm doing after class, picking up dirt. Yeah, yeah. Well,
Which side of San Diego is it?
towards the end, almost to the border by San Isidro.
Yeah, near the Chula Vista and all this stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm towards Chula Vista in San Diego, so almost to the Mexico border.
Oh,
But
nice.
it's so windy, right?
I'm about to come today at San Diego, like later, after
Yeah,
some hours. Yeah,
yeah. It's really windy. Are you coming today?
yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Hopefully it's just a few hours, but right now it's really bad right now. Um, Talking about being up by the Mexico border, um, earlier when we were sharing, I wanted to share that um, in September I was in Canada and I was also in Mexico, and I looked at the currency, the bills. They are almost the same colors, same look, and it was hard. It was really hard to tell the difference between the peso and the Canadian dollar. So it was just interesting having to make sure I look and see what currency I'm using between the two. So anyway, okay, give me a minute. Let's see. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started here. All right. So this coming week, we're going to be talking in chapter 5. So I'm following the syllabus. Okay. I don't know what happened to chapter 4, but we're from your assignments you did in week 2, you worked on chapter 3. This week, your assignments are based on chapter 5. Okay. So really interesting. Take a look at chapter 4. It's on managerial merchandising. So I think that, so if you guys want to be in retail, that's a good chapter to review and just to know the logistics a little bit about it. But like I said, it's a lot of information. For you to comprehend all of it is a lot. So just review it. Read the headings. Let's see what interests you, and read the part that you're interested in. But as far as this week, we're going to go into chapter 5. So, okay. Okay. So I'm going to cover as much as I can with chapter 5. Like I said, we have really strong winds right now. In case my connection you cannot hear or I get cut off, I'll try to log in back from my phone. But if I cannot, then I will. I'll just dismiss you in case that happens. Hopefully it doesn't. Okay. So, oh my gosh, did you hear that? Scary. Um, Okay, you guys, chapter 5 is accounting for inventories. Do you know, I'll tell you something about me. Of all the businesses that I work for, any business that has inventory, not my favorite. Anybody know why? Have a guess why?
A lot of managing it and keeping the data.
Okay. Anywhere else? Anything else? What about inventory? Somebody tell me something about inventory, what they know about inventory. I just told you I don't businesses that have inventory make money, but they're not my favorite. Anyone? Inventory. Do we know what inventory is? Mohammed, tell them
Yeah,
what inventory is.
it's your stock of whatever your merchandise you sell. Um, you store them in your store and you keep the inventory.
There's a book called Sell the Invisible. It's a good book. To look into it. Like that. So, like Mohammed said, inventory is the asset, right? It is considered an asset, and you're converting it. If you just always look at your business as a conversion of trade, inventory is one of them. But here's the thing about inventory. You have to take your cash. For Mohammed, listen to what I'm saying. Agree, disagree. Let me know what you think. Okay, this is how I think inventory is.
Okay.
Inventory is an asset, but I have to take my money to go buy the inventory to get a product to try to make a profit by selling. Okay. Now I've converted my cash to product. That's why you see it an asset. But inventory is still an asset on your balance sheet. But what if I need to convert it back to cash? Which means like, okay, I bought $10,000 of inventory and it's on my shelf. Now I'm trying to convert that inventory back to cash plus the profit that I want to make. Okay, so $10,000 supposed to come back to me 30,000. Okay, so that I would make a $20,000 profit, right? If it cost me 10. Let's just say that it's not happening fast. It's not, your inventory is not moving fast enough, and your payroll is coming. What are you going to do? You're going to have to just make a decision to discount that asset and say, okay, I wanted to make 20, but I'm willing to make 15 now. So I'm going to discount that so that I can convert it back to cash. So that way, when I convert it back to cash, I can use part of it to pay payroll, to pay the landlord, to pay insurances, to pay gas for me to pick up more product, right? So then you use more your money that you converted back to buy more product, right? So it's a cyclical process of converting. And you have to decide what your minimum conversion rate you want or the profitability you want. This is the same as food, same as cars, same as clothing. And there's some products out there that go fast. So can you guys name me what products you have that needs to be moving? Did you buy it in? You need to be moving. Otherwise, the
Especially,
longer you wait, it's going to depreciate. Go ahead, Mohammed.
especially the things which get expired, like if you have foods or something.
Food has a
Yeah.
shelf life, right?
Mhm.
What else has a shelf life? What else has a shelf life, you guys? Come on. You know these answers. Those of you that like to dress nice, have the newest season. Fashion. Fashion has a shelf life. Do you agree?
Yeah, it also like depend on season and trends.
Mhm. Novelties have a season. Like who wants to buy Christmas stuff right now?
No
And
one.
if I buy it now, it better be on a 80% discount, 20 cents to the dollar. That's my limit. 20 cents to a dollar because I'm gonna have to store it for the next 11 months, right?
Right.
What else has an expiration date? Agree to disagree with me. Technology. Does it have a shelf life?
Yeah, it depends. It depends. I mean, it depends on the year.
Yeah.
It might have the longest shelf life, but it will have a shelf life.
Okay. I agree with that. Depends on what it is. Cell phones have been going fast right now, but there's some technologies that will still work for you, right? Guys, even your textbook has a shelf life, right? I want to say right now, used cars is like the longer you wait, appears to be the more expensive you have to pay, right?
Yeah.
I know because I'm looking for a car right now and it is difficult. What type of business is more stable?
Right now, I think service business, any kind of
Oh, you know what
service
service
business.
business doesn't have, Mohammed?
But
It doesn't have inventory,
yeah,
Uh, can I
oh,
guess?
right? What's that, Christian?
I think hardware stores.
Oh my God, I just heard something crash. Hang on a second. I'm just not going to worry about it right now. I'm just going to finish my class and then we'll figure it out. I'm sorry, Christian, you were saying?
Hardware stores.
You give me more, tell me more.
Because hardware stores doesn't for their products doesn't have expiration like that.
Like, you mean like wood, nails?
Uh, yes, like
Hmm?
uh, yeah, nails, and then
But it's an inventory base?
yeah, I think so. Yes.
Yeah. So if it's inventory based, like I said, the conversion of having it from cash to inventory back to cash, can you do payroll with your inventory?
I'm not sure.
No. If you work for me and I said, hey Christian, I don't have cash to pay you, but can you take 10 hammers?
Oh, no, no, no.
If you say yes, I'm gonna hire you.
They would say, "Do you want me to hit you with the hammer?"
Right? So that's the thing with inventory based businesses is that sets that cycle. And when you want to get your cash back, you have to do discount. Um, in the line item of your accounting, it's called cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold usually are costs like if you want to make a table, your cost of good would be the wood. Um, you don't necessarily count labor in that, but the wood, the glue, you don't even count the machine that saws the table. That's not a direct cost either. So understanding your cost of your product is important, right? When it comes to inventory. But more importantly, in chapter five is talking about your first in, first out options. Okay. Um, let's just say there's things that inventory wise that are um, not shelf life, like we talked about, right? But price change. So they are inventory, but they don't have a shelf life. Like technically, fashion, I consider fashion as a shelf life because if you're, I guess if you have certain item like sweatpants, like the classics, They don't go out of they don't go out of style. Well, they're timeless. I call them the timeless items. But if you're doing fast fashion, then definitely. But what other items can you think of that is considered inventory? Prices do change, and they change fast. You think of one? No? I'm thinking gas, gasoline for cars. Prices are changing constantly, right?
Yeah.
We liked it for stable, so that like gasoline is considered inventory for a gas station. They have to get it purchased, although they have, you know, gasoline is a different type of business because they have all these contracts and it could be a branded gasoline. But for the most part, for the basic, it is an inventory, but prices change all the time. You don't really have um, don't really have cogs because gasoline just gasoline. It's not like you're doing anything with it. Gold, gold price. You know, gold is an inventory.
Yeah, I was about to say it.
Gold. So all of those precious items, precious stone. I want to say no. I don't want to. I don't want to include precious stone. Um, but what is the other one? Any other type that you can think about? But like Mohammed said, service. Service is a great one. Now there is one that's considered a product, but you don't really need to carry inventory, which I think is a great one. Intellectual property. You guys know what that?
Intellectual property was that?
Like intellectual property is more like you write a book, you design a pattern for your clothing. You only have to create it one time, but you can sell it multiple times. Okay? You're not really carrying it on the shelf. It's just like you have it, and then when somebody orders it, you print it. Even right now with the um, direct ship, a lot of businesses have changed their model where they don't need to carry the inventory anymore. I think it's a genius. I think it's a great model. I just don't know with technology and consumer how long it will continue to go. So when it comes to accounting, some of the examples that they use in the textbook, there are some, I don't want to say new technology or a new model, but there are some businesses where they have all the benefits of inventory, but on their financials, it doesn't reflect the same burden on it. So direct ship, have you guys heard of this kind of business? I think it's a great way to do it. It's a great way for you to brand your business, sell products, but not have to carry.
You should drop ship?
Drop shipping.
Yeah, drop shipping. Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Do you necessarily need to carry inventory, Mohammed?
no, you don't
No,
have to. I mean, it has. Yeah, you don't have to, but you can also.
you can, but but it's not like burden on your balance sheet, on your inventory, where you have to
Yeah.
continue to convert cash to product, back to cash, right?
Yeah.
That process of cash to product to cash is expensive, you guys, for businesses because it's a timing thing, right? Um, so in chapter 5, we're talking about it's presenting to you the accounting of inventories. So they're going to explain the valuation of different methods so you can determine when the good is sold and how you reflect it on your inventory when it is sold, and how it reflects when you bring the product in. For our class sake, it's just a movement of cash where cash turns into inventory or product back to cash. And the more you can master that, the better. How do you master that? Well, you have to know your product. You have to know your customers. So, Mohammed, if it's okay, if I can use you as an example for a real
Sure, sure.
example. Okay. So when you bring cars in, first of all, you know what type of cars will sell and what some won't, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hope so. Otherwise, you're going to
Yeah.
be buying cars that's going to sit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the longer it sits, the more you have to depreciate it. Why? Because that process of converting it back to cash. Sometimes you have to take a loss just to move money.
Yeah.
When it comes to specific items, I'm just going to give you an example because I know this market well. We all have a specific market that we know well. Restaurant equipment. Okay. My family has always been in restaurant. I've owned food businesses, I know, with restaurants. When you need something, when you need an equipment, it's expensive to buy. But I'm telling you, when you don't need it, the value of it depreciates so much because it takes space and it could rest. Um, so that conversion process of equipment back to cash on specific industries like restaurants or even technical. I have a friend that he makes lightweight material for construction. Those equipment are huge. I mean, it takes out like it could fill up a whole building of equipment. So when he's not in production or when he's in low production, that space alone costs him money. So think about your accounting equation, right? When you're having to pay a fixed asset, which is the building, fixed costs. Hopefully you own it. Even if you own it, there's a cost to it. Um, but if you don't, fixed costs, the equipment sits on it, and your equipment's not functioning to make product. You see how a burden that is when you can visualize your spreadsheet, financial sheet. You can tell me on your balance sheet it shows you have assets, but your cash flow statement is going to show me that you don't have cash flow instead. Why is that? Because your balance sheet shows the asset and the liabilities you have, which your equipment is an asset, a depreciated asset, but nonetheless an asset. Your cash flow is telling me that you haven't been producing money. Money hasn't been flowing through to pay for all those, right? So in chapter 5, it's going to allow you to kind of give you different examples so you can think through the life cycle. The two that they're going to focus on is first in, first out. There's also a last in, first out. And how you would record that on your spreadsheet. Okay. Just so that whoever's reading it will understand the movement of it. Some businesses that I know, when you bring it in, it's not necessarily that you. Oh, I thought I lost you for a second. There's certain businesses that the longer you hold on things, the more value it is. Can you guys think of any businesses like that? I'd like to hear someone in the classroom.
Yeah,
Unless this
maybe
is, yeah.
like if we buy land and we keep it for a long time, then its value raises. Like today, if it's for 5,000, then maybe like after 10 years, it will be of 10,000. So maybe real estate is something.
That's a theory, though. Who is that? I can't see you from far away. In your name,
Harkiran.
Harina? Harina, that is the theory of real estate is true. That is true what you just said as a theory or the hope, but that's not always the case, right?
Yeah.
I know I've lost money in land before, only because I didn't hold it long enough. I bought it and then I needed cash back and I needed to sell it to get my cash back. And so when I sold it, I had to be willing to sell it for a lesser price to get my cash back because I wanted to take that money to invest in something else. Hopefully, will make up the loss of my land, right? We call that opportunity cost. Sometimes you have to, just make a decision. Okay, I'll lose money on this money, on the land, but maybe I can invest in something else that will make up the difference, right? So what you said is correct. Land typically will appreciate over time, but it's not quick. If it's quick, it's not the norm. Okay. What else? Businesses that take the longer you
Uh,
hold.
if we invest in gold, silver, because its price is getting higher day by day.
Can you repeat that, Sriti?
If we invest in gold or silver, specifically silver is upcoming industry of silver is gonna grow very well. So
I couldn't hear her clear. Can someone repeat there what she said for me?
Yeah, she said gold and silver.
Gold and silver. Yeah, we were saying that that's the same. I'm going to say that's the same rule as land. Not always. My mother many years ago had a bad experience, and even till today, because of her bad experience, every time I tell her, "Mom, I think we should buy gold," she's like, "No, never buy gold." And it's a generational thought. So her experience during her generation, gold was just dropping so much. At one point in U.S. history, it was illegal to hold it, so they'll confiscate your gold. So, in my mother's perspective, gold is not, but that's what drives. That's what's so interesting about pricing in gold, right? Such as gold. Everybody's experience is different, and their experience drives the value for themselves. But Sriti, you are right. For the most part, the theory is the longer you hold, the value will go up, but not always. Yeah. So I want to say this industry, you can agree. You guys don't have to agree with me all the time. I prefer you don't agree with me on because I want to learn too. So, okay. So I have two businesses that I think will, like I said, the longer you hold the value, the more value it becomes. Not always. Nothing is absolute, right? So people that have nursery homes, like plantations, like trees, the bigger the tree, um, the more value they sell it for. So the reason why I know is I have a friend that sells fruit trees. So she starts from seed, and if she starts from seed, by the way, she can get the seed from many of the other plants, so it's almost like zero cost to her, right? So she gets the seed. It takes her time. It does take time because you can't rush the seed unless you do all these set the climate for them. So it does. So you can control it to a certain extent. But let's just say that seed grows to 1 inch or 2 inch. That costs like $5. But if nobody buys, does she worry about it? No, because in 2 weeks later it grows up to 4 inch. Now that $5, now she can sell for $8, right? And this is like multiplied through hundreds of trees with many different varieties. So there is such a business that the longer you hold, the more money, the more value it creates, such as land, such as gold, such as um, nursery plants, right? But also the uh, the cattle industry. The cattle industry. There are some. It doesn't always follow through, but the bigger your cattle, the heavier it is, the more you can sell, right? But there is a premium price when you're young too. So I've kind of been told both ways, which is true. Where I've worked with businesses that do sell meat, That's their product is the meat, not necessarily. They're not selling the cow, but they're selling the meat of it, right? The beef. So that's another one. You guys think of any others I don't know about? Teas, the fermentation process of tea, liquor, alcohol, wine. So why is it important to tell you guys this? Because these are all business models, you guys. These are business models that you could adapt from. You don't have to reinvent. Whenever you're thinking of something to go into, think about things that like hold versus value, right? Does that make sense? You guys give me a raised hand on your computer if it makes sense. If you're in the class, just raise your hand if you hear what I'm saying. It makes sense to you. The business model drives the value, in turn, creates revenue of the business, right? Sometimes I want to
Yes,
say,
sure.
Professor, can you please repeat what you said? You're cutting in and out from my end.
oh, okay. I don't know what part you missed, Mohammed, but I was saying that all that I'm describing to you is the model of the business, where certain businesses, you have to turn the inventory fast before you lose. But then there's also businesses out there that the longer you hold, the more value they become, right? But what I was trying to get at to you is that these are all business models, and the ones that I've just listed to you are not the only ones. But it's important for you to understand these models through the lens of accounting, because it will position you to understand how your cash moves. And when you understand the model, when you have an idea, you can apply that model and see how it works for you in your favor, right? In a case, let's just say you're over here right now, you're in school. So let's just say if you go out there and you market yourself as a service, maybe you would get paid, say, $25 an hour. But as you mature and you get more studies, more knowledge, you will continue to increase that value of, by the hour of your service, right? So in a sense, what we are doing is a model. But how do we identify that model and apply it so that it works for you? So I haven't had a chance to learn about different businesses that maybe all of you have operated before or want to get into. I love hearing them, and I love discovering new models. I mean, think about the model. Are you guys familiar with Goodwill?
Venmo, you said?
Goodwill, the store Goodwill, the Goodwill model. I talk about the Goodwill
What is
model.
it? Sorry.
Goodwill. Oh, yeah, I know.
You know Goodwill? That's an
Good.
amazing model.
Yeah.
Why is it an amazing model? Why do I think it's an amazing model?
If I'm not mistaken, Goodwill, it's when people give the clothes for charity and they sell them for less price than it can be. It's like it's the same when, for example, people selling their clothes on eBay, but Goodwill get it for free.
Is that not a good model? Does that resolve our cash to product issue? I mean, Goodwill's not acquiring those products, right? I mean, they still have costs. They have costs of their fixed costs, maybe the building they're selling, maybe the employee, the labor, the employee, the management, insurance. They still have costs, but the primary fee that drives their revenue is their product, and it doesn't cost them money to get. I mean, I think that's a great model. You guys can figure out a business where you can get something for free and resell it for more money. I think that's a good model, right? Agree? You can give me a thumbs up if you agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, Christian?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Free product and then you resell it.
So, okay, now I'm going to bring it to accounting in chapter 5. How does that come in? Where will you place that on your accounting equation? That'd be interesting.
Hmm. Is it an is it a asset? Can we place it in asset, Prof?
Hi guys, I'm so sorry.
Yes, we can hear you.
My electricity just went out and came back on. Okay. Um, I don't know how much longer I can get on, but oh shit. Sorry about that. Oh, my TV was turned on. I don't know what you guys heard, but so important, you guys. I wish some of these, whatever I'm telling you, I wish someone had told me about all these things I'm trying to tell you when I was not necessarily when I was growing up, but a lot younger in my years. So, and I just want to tell you, share with things that you probably will learn in certain books, but in accounting class, it's not going to really emphasize this part that I'm telling you about, understanding the model of certain businesses and how it impacts through your accounting as assets. So I was telling you that, can you hear me? Uh, for a company like Goodwill, when they get their product donated to them, as soon as they inventory, as soon as they bring it in, it's an asset.
Yeah, Prof, I was saying that when you asked the question earlier,
What's that, Christian? Go ahead. I didn't hear your question.
you were asking that question earlier, where would we place that in accounting equation? And I was trying to guess that it is an asset.
Right. And why is it an asset, Christian?
Because yeah, because it's free, so we can as soon as we get the product sold, it will always increase your cash or your asset.
Mhm. Well, it's an asset because there's a value to your business, right? It becomes a value,
Yeah, yeah, and that's about
especially when that value can generate revenue,
yeah.
right? I mean, gosh, if we can find businesses that are like that Goodwill model, go for it. I see some value, some you know some things that you could be doing, especially when it comes to converting product like thrifting. People are refurnishing furniture, right? Or I see like in San Francisco, I think it's a value. Okay, maybe you can argue with me that it's not a value, but you know, the city of San Francisco. Why do I know this? Because I have a friend that works for the city of San Francisco in their environmental. So San Francisco changed some of their policies where um, your food, you have to divide up your organic garbage and trash, the recycling. So what they were promoting was that all your food waste has to be put into a different bin because they take that food waste. Guess what? Here's the crazy thing. They charge you if you have too much food waste and it over limits. Uh, you have a certain limit that you pay every month for food waste, right? When you have too much, they charge you. But you know what they take with that food waste? They take it to a dump site and they create organic fertilizer. And through that organic fertilizer, they give it back to the farmers. I'm not sure if they give it back, but let's just say that they could sell it. Let's just say that they sell it. Think about that model, right? So I would say that if you can convert something that can generate revenue, that's an asset. That is an asset if you can create revenue. So let's just say they're giving it for free because it's a city, but let's just say if they're a private sector, what if they were selling really good soil through all of this composting, right? That would be a great model. So you're taking something, converting it over. So I see that often. So pay attention to the things around you. There may be a gap and you can step in and fulfill a need and create into a business model for yourself. Um,
Prof, I have a question.
yeah,
What kind of business model is a poultry business?
a poultry.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So poultry business. Okay, maybe I don't know if you have a more specific question, but when you say a poultry business, there's a few different businesses within that poultry business. You mean
Mhm.
like chicken, right?
Yeah, chicken,
Okay.
chicken and eggs.
I just want to make sure I heard you right because I don't want to answer something like you're like, what the heck is he talking about?
Isn't
Okay,
it production business like producing
it's kind
goods,
of it's kind of manufacturing, guys.
factoring? Yeah.
It goes under um, um, manufacture, but But when Christian said poultry business, I can think of like multiple businesses that's under there. Number one, um, there's a processing center, Christian. Okay, I'm talking about in general terms. Okay, there's always a small farmer that's doing everything, which raise the chicken,
Mm-hmm.
processes the chicken, and brings the chicken to market. Right? There's always
Yeah.
that. But I'm talking about in general terms is that when it comes to the poultry industry, you have multiple business models or multiple industries are within the poultry, which is one. Um, there are businesses that all they do is raise chicken,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they have the land and all they're doing is raising chicken, right? And then it's almost like a supply chain. So they're raising chicken. Number two, then they have the processing center. So they bring the chicken to the processing center to get processed. I'm not going to go to detail of what that means, okay?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, and then they have the distribution centers. So when after the processing, they turn it to the distribution, and the distribution center usually owns the trucks and already have the connections in the supply chain, and then they distribute it out, and then they have the grocery retail. You see that one poultry that you just explained to me has four different business channels, and there's some businesses that they're only doing that one thing. All they do is processing. And do you know that the processing centers are so like tight schedule? Like you better schedule your herd to come in at a certain time. So during COVID, I've talked to with a few of the farmers. It's so crazy that when you have a herd of cattle, remember cattle is that one business I told you that the longer you wait, the more value they become,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I talked to a farmer where he has to schedule the processing center for his cattle, for his herd, almost like a year advance. Okay. And then when COVID hit, all the schedules and the processing center had to close, and it impacted so many different supply chain. Because I mean, how are you going to sell your meat if you don't get it processed, right? So anyway, I don't know if that answers your question, Christian,
Yeah.
but to understand that, and then every industry has their own accounting. I mean, you guys, so accounting is so foundational where you can follow money. And when Christian just asked me about poultry, the money is filtering through like four different business models, right? Four different entities, industries that support that one poultry.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So why is it important? So when you think about a thought or an idea, number one, think of how the money is going to flow through. Okay, are you the type of business that your inventory depreciates value? So you think it's an asset. Yeah, it's an asset when it first comes in, but a week later you haven't moved that asset. Now it's going to, continue to shrink, right? But again, you have to have accounting thought about it through the lens of accounting. Dude, I gotta have all my distribution centers, all my sales team ready to receive it. Now, there's different models. I'm gonna say in accounting, you can mitigate the loss. How do you mitigate loss? If you need to move product, you don't, and you want to mitigate your loss. What are some of the things that you would think they would do?
Giving discount.
No, that's a for sure loss, Christian.
Oh, sorry.
When you discount, you are for sure losing.
Maybe
I want,
um
I want to know if what you guys can think about. How do you mitigate the loss?
because for example, in like if you're selling meat, something like that, and then if it stays longer in your inventory, sometimes the seller thinks of a way of selling cooked meats already.
Okay,
Yeah, to
well, I guess it could, but I was thinking about guys. How many times have you pre-ordered something? Right?
mm, pre-ordering.
Pre-order, pre-sell.
So you're just doing made to order like that.
Like, okay, so you pre-sell or you pre-order. Usually they'll ask you to pay for the product and then they'll ship it when they have it, right?
Um,
Or you put a deposit in. So they're securing someone to buy it before they even go out and purchase their inventory. That's how some businesses will mitigate their losses on their accounting.
yeah, that's what they do in some of online business. You have to
Mhm.
pay deposit first
Yeah,
before.
I think it's so annoying. So annoying when they promote a product. I want to buy it, go in there, it says over, like out of stock, right? Out of stock. Like, okay, and now if I really want it, I have to pre-order, and then I have to wait for it to ship. Maybe they won't charge me, but they have my credit card information, so as soon as it ships, they'll charge me. But I'm asking you to think about through your accounting, how does that impact your accounting equation? Is it better or worse? Good or bad? What do you think?
Good.
Right. I don't have to go out and buy that product until Christian tells me he's going to buy it. I'm going to hold his credit card so that as soon as I buy here, I'm going to ship it direct to him. Or even better, it's drop shipping, right?
Yeah.
So, drop shipping, sometimes you don't even have to buy the product, Christian. When your customer buys it, the drop shipping takes care of it, and then they just give you the difference of your profit or your margin, and then they'll ship it out to the customer, right? So that's some of the ways that we could mitigate inventory. I'm telling you, your book doesn't discuss this, so that's why I want to discuss it, because you can read whatever's in the book. Don't need me. Um, so inventory. There are many ways to mitigate a specific um, cost to you by deferring it or by allocating it to elsewhere. Yeah? We see it often. We live through it. Sometimes we don't think. So next time you have a pre-order on something, that's when you can think, oh, I wonder if they're doing pre-order because they don't want to pay for the product. Right? There's certain gadgets out there that it's a concept, an idea, and they'll make a prototype and they're going to sell you on the prototype. They probably haven't even manufactured it. So, but it's mitigating because you don't want to spend what $1 million to manufacture it and only have $200,000 in sales. We didn't do it the 800,000, right? So those are ways you can mitigate your risk, and it's a lot less burden on your accounting equation because you don't have to come out with all this cash and investor money, right? In your chapter 3, it talked about investor and stockholder equity. How do you, when they invest in you, it's $5,000. How that money flows through, and if you did take a loss, how does it impact them? It's different than the creditor, right? In your chapter 3, the difference between a creditor and an investor. Good to know. It helps you make those decisions, given product on how you make money. Remember, in my first week, I was speaking on understanding how a business makes money, understanding that business, how a business makes money, applying to the model, how you can mitigate that and how you get money, how you make money, all flows through into this. Now, Christian, since um, you mentioned the poultry business, right? Uh,
Yeah,
can I ask you what was your interest in it?
because I'm my wife and I was we were planning on doing a poultry business
Oh,
in our province back in our country.
okay.
So, yeah,
Yeah. Well, in what country is that, Christian?
in Philippines.
Philippines. Okay. So what I discussed with you is common in U.S. and I don't know how country to country relates, but
Mm,
you can consider take that model and bring it back, right?
yeah.
Uh, but I can share with you in the cattle industry right now,
Hmm.
you can how they also mitigate the product because you know meat has a shelf life, right? If you want it fresh, let's just assume that meat has a shelf life because it's food has a shelf life. Yes, you can freeze it, but I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about fresh, right?
All right.
So there are businesses right now that you can go in and you can buy all grass fed, freshly processed at a premium price where they do it like crowdfunding. Okay,
Crowdfunding.
like crowdfunding, not cow funding, crowdfunding. What
Oh,
it, not cow, but crowd. But what they're doing, Christian, is this. So they promote, okay, what cuts do you want? Right? Or they have packages if you want package A, B, or C. And what they do is they don't process the cow. Okay, I'm just using the word process, but really they're going to kill the cow, right?
yeah.
I'm just going to say how they process the cow. They don't process it until the cow is fully paid for, like fully sold.
Mm, yeah.
So they're
Uh,
using technology. So let's just say, Christian, today you order package A, which includes so many pounds of this, and that. Yeah, it
mhm.
tells you what you can get.
Yeah, I kind of
And,
get it.
right. And you commit to paying for it. You don't pay it yet. And then I come in, I'm like, okay, well, I need more than Christian. I'm going to buy package C, which is almost half the cow. I also pay, but they don't charge me. And they're going to keep waiting. So I ordered it, but I don't know when I'm receiving the meat yet. And they tell you, we don't process the cow until this whole cow is being sold. And they notify you as soon as the last buyer fulfills the whole cow. They will email everyone and say you will receive your meat in 7 days, 5 days, whatever
Mhm.
it is. Okay.
Mm,
Again, how does this impact your accounting equation? What did I just mitigate? That business. What did they just mitigate? One of the most costly thing for them?
yeah, the
Because
shelf.
it's
Is it the shelf life?
right. They're
Yes,
pre-selling.
you don't have. Yeah,
Have a
the
guaranteed
you
buyer.
don't have to wait that long.
Right.
So all the customers will receive fresh cat meat.
Yep. Yep. That's smart, right? Don't you think that's smart?
Yeah, yeah.
Just some coordination. Sometimes we're taking different businesses that's blending businesses model. Like you're taking a food model that we know have a shelf life. Who wants to eat bad meat, right? Even though you can freeze it, but sometimes they're like never frozen too. So um, into a different model platform. It's convenient. It's good for the customer because it's a product that they can guarantee. They guarantees in, but the trade-off is the customers confirming it, so I'm not paying for it. But it's a huge difference in the model of the business because they're not having to process the cow and rush to sell this. So they have no food loss, food costs loss, right? It's a good business. It's amazing. So what a great model. Finding such industries and when you can always mitigate that. And I'm always going back to the accounting costs, right? So on this company's balance sheet, they'll have their asset as the chattels, the value of their inventory. But when it comes to their cash flow, they won't have a loss because everything that they sell, everything that they have, they've sold. There won't be any. I'm sure there's. I don't know. Maybe there's shipping issues. I don't know. But the intention of the model is that there's no food costs or loss. Okay. So anyhow, I hope that that brings some value to what you're thinking about, whether it is that you are wanting to understand an industry more, whether it be uh, how to see it through the lens of a business in accounting, when you can allocate certain costs, that happens. But one of the good things about understanding this is it helps you plan. Like I told you again with the candles, you need to plan your business and figure out where it is that you make your money, where it is that inventory comes into. Okay, I haven't even talked to you about byproducts yet. Byproduct is creating value into something that you already have, that your
Well,
business already have. You didn't even know that there is a value to it.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can relate this to the one that you were discussing earlier regarding with the longer you hold it, the the more value it has in the future. How about an apartment business? Since you will own the building itself and the land, and then there are tenants who's paying for the lease or the rent.
Uh, what was the question? I don't hear the question.
Um, does it can I say that the what is it again? Does it go to the business model that the long sorry, the um I forgot the question. Is uh,
It looks like you want to ask if the property, if you own the property, it's a good business model to have this. For example, if you buy, as I understand, if you buy a property, it's like a good business for buying the property because usually the price for renting and the price of the land increasing, and as long as you have for example you bought the land or you bought the flat for I don't know 1 million and in 2 years it will cost 2 million. It looks like a good business model because you don't need to do more, you just earn the money, maybe something like this.
Okay.
yeah,
What
yeah,
I,
something like that.
okay, so what you Natalia just explained to me about the apartment building, are you talking about passive income?
Yeah.
Okay. So passive income, the idea of passive income is good, always good, right? And we talked about that in I think in week one where I asked you guys if you would rather make $1,000 and do everything or $100 and not do much, right? So passive income falls within that, Christian. It is great, but sometimes to get to the passive income depends on what your risk factor, what your risk tolerance is. Because I've been in real estate for 20 something years. Here's the thing that I learned. Okay,
Mm.
real estate is a long term investment. If you're buying it to flip, then it's flip means a quick sale. You have to buy it really low. But nobody. This is something that nobody talks about, and I think that's kind of it's important because we're talking about accounting. People always talk about the profit. Oh, I bought this for 100,000. I sold it for 200. Okay, you made 100,000.
Mhm.
But in reality, do you get 100,000? No. You know why? Because any accounting student will know that there are fees,
Yeah.
commission, the money that you used to buy, was there a cost? Like, you are the first to always pay and the last to get paid. Make sense? You have to buy the land first. You have to do all the renovations, do whatever you need, but everybody else gets paid first before you do. So I'm not talking about. So we can save that conversation for later. I'm just talking about your question about passive income. Passive income is good because why? We only have 24 hours in the day. If you can build a model where whether you are there working in the business or on the business, you still get paid, which is your landlord. You're the landlord and your tenant's paying you. That's passive income. And you can continue to do that multiple times. Doesn't matter if you have 24 hours in a day or not, right? So that's passive income. I think, yeah, it's great. But before I say that's great, my question, I'm more concerned, how did you get to that, right? How did you get there? Did you get the land free from family?
Mm.
Won the lottery or what? Did you get it free? So from that free land, you create passive income. I think that's great. But if you had to pay a high price, plus the construction of the building, plus paying your investors, your passive income um, is considered and have to be calculated. Makes sense? So there's always more into it. If you always hold the rule of nothing is easy, you will always be prepared because nothing is easy. Money is not easy.
Yes. Yeah.
It's, it's
So it will take years for your
right.
investment to return to you.
Yeah.
Therefore, from there you can say that it is already a passive income since you
Right.
yeah, since the profit that you gain was
Hmm.
already, yeah, the value of the property when you bought it.
Yeah. So I would need to know a little bit more in order I can analyze your project. But there's some theories or some principles that we could adopt. Is that passive income is a good thing because it tells me passive income means that it's not going to account for your 24 hours. There's not a limitation of how many times you can do it, right? Because it's passive. Yeah. So, uh, hopefully I answered the question. But hopefully this is interesting to you guys.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Professor. Yeah. I learned a lot.
Um, yeah, I want to share you guys this one thing. Okay, so I used to have a little fruit stand. It's a little mobile fruit stand. It's nothing new. I don't know if I shared this with you. If I did, I'm sorry, but it's nothing new. We were selling fruit, but where we sold it made a difference. Okay? So if you go to other countries, I see it here in LA. Okay, so in LA when you drive around, there's a little fruit stands that sell fruit in the corners. Okay, uh, well, in the streets of Mexico or Vietnam or even in your countries, I'm sure they sell like many things, right? But here in U.S., there's regulations, so you can't really just sell what you want when you want it and just pull out. There's food regulations. But anyway, I had a little fruit business, and I had a little mobile thing, a trailer. It's really cute. I didn't really sell it. We were selling at festivals, but at one point I had a contract and sold it. I was able to legally sell it on the parks of Seattle in Washington. I can tell you guys, this little thing made so much money. Okay, um, I paid for maybe from the time that I bought it new to all the money that I invested in it. Let's just say I put in about 15,000. Okay, this little thing was bringing I only opened it and sold it on Friday, Saturday, and part of Sunday. So it's about 2 days worth, okay? Because it was half of Friday and half of Sunday. And so it was about 2 days worth of selling. This little thing made about $5,000 a week, okay, because of the volume that it had and the people that it had and the pricing that I was able to do. Okay, so when you ask me my equipment, the trailer is the equipment. By the time that we were in our third year, the value of the trailer was little. It had depreciated, right? It wasn't new anymore. It was used. And I had gotten my money back multiple times already. So, but that little trailer was still able to make me 5,000 a week, so almost 20,000 a month, right? So when you ask me, should I sell? What's the value of that trailer? That value of that trailer, if you're talking about material wise, on my financial sheet, on the asset side of equipment, it's probably, I don't know, it was probably worth like, let's say $3,000 at the low end at one point. But what it could make superseded the value so much. The revenue that it could bring in for me was 20,000, even though the equipment alone was only like that worth $3,000. So how do you consider that? You know, how do you think about that? Where's the value come from, and how do you equate that onto your accounting sheet? Okay? How would you? Does that make sense to you? How does that make sense? I mean, this is like me telling you about my business. Eventually, we didn't keep it. We, you know, another story for another time. But just using that simple illustration for you to see how something that cost me created a value to me, and then how it depreciated, but it still yet had high value. So, well, the answer to that is that a lot of times businesses put it into the goodwill. Okay, goodwill is not goodwill is a part of branding. It could be, in my case, a part of a contract that I had, and I can sell that. Okay? Think of a taxi driver. Okay, I mean, I'm talking about the classic taxi driver. I'm not talking about Uber. Because when Uber came out, it threatened the taxi driver community a lot. So I can't speak to all the different city ordinances and city regulations for taxi driver. I can only speak to what I know, which is in Seattle. In the city of Seattle, the city only gives out permits to only a certain amount of permits for taxi driving. I don't know what the limit is. I'm just going to say, let's just say they only give out 500 permits. That means in the city of Seattle, there's going to be 500 permits. There's 500 taxi drivers in the city. So people were buying up those permits and leasing them out. They were leasing the permits. I don't know if that was legal or not, but that was what was happening. Okay, until Uber came out. So that permit created value because anybody can get a car, right? To drive people around. So that permit alone was a high value asset through the acquisition. Think about that. Think about that, and we can discuss it next week on the different businesses. So, along with your weekly activity that you need to do, which I need to catch up on, guys, I love doing this part. I love talking to you, sharing, and hearing what your thoughts and questions. Do I love grading your work? No, but that's a part of what I do, right? That's a part of what I have to do as your instructor. So this is my first class here at IAU, so I'm still learning how to grade. But I don't want you to worry about that. I want you to participate and engage in the conversations that we have, because that is where your high value is in this class. I have helped so many people make money so many people how to mitigate their risk. I want you to get the most of that. This is the only time that I have with you guys. So for those that are engaging with me, I hope you take it. And though those that are not, I can't control that. So you need to be listening because this is not where the textbook is going to tell you. You are still responsible to get your work done, get your book, get your work done. And what it is, look, doing your discussion questions and stuff meets your requirements. It does not tell me whether you mastered the topic, master the accounting equation or not. And in this class, it's important for me to expose that to you and see how it applies. But when you graduate and finish this course, how much you retain information, I don't have control over that. But you do still need to meet it. And I'm responsible for certain duties myself that I'm responsible for. Number one is to take your attendance. Number two is ensuring that you've done your discussion questions on submission. Okay, I need to do my part in updating your grades and whatnot, and I'm working on that. But outside of that, the time that you can get the most out of me and I can get the most out of you is in discussion. So to me, if the only people that are in this class is Christian, Natalia, Mohammed, I'm not doing my part and you're not getting the best of me. I was asked to come into Kukucha's class, not because I know accounting, it's because I've lived through it. And I want to give you that part. I want to give you what the textbook is not telling you. And I want you to maximize that time, okay? So with that being said, this is week 3. As I continue to get more comfortable with my students and understand you, I'm going to give you my best. You need to give me your best so that you can gain. I already paid my tuition to learn what I need to learn to be out in the world. I want the same for you. So do what you need to do, get your textbook, do what you need to do, finish your discussions, upload it, and all the technical things about attendance, grading, and all that, I'm not even concerned about that because that's going to get done. Okay? So that's all that I'm going to tell you. I hope to see you engaged because every single one that's listening to me right now, you have ideas, you have dreams, you have things you haven't figured out. Well, bring them up. How can we serve you? How can we help you? Sitting in the corner, not talking about anything, doing on your phone, it's not serving you. I'm here to help serve you and come out to utilize it. With that being said, love to connect you more. Love you. I step out of my corporate role because I feel I have a calling. I have a calling that was to come and serve you in this capacity, and I love it. So I hope that you be as the time that you allocate your time that you paid for and allocate your time to be here. Come on, guys. You know how it is. I've been there, sitting at your desk as well. So with that being said, that's all I have for you today. If whatever you haven't done, please ensure to get that part done and maximize your time. I hope that one thing that you can take away from this class will help you be more successful in wherever it is that you're heading. Okay. With that being said, I have a couple of students I've asked to stay back in class. So as you are logging off, you're dismissed. Anybody that is in virtual hybrid, if I haven't taken your attendance yet, please let me know so I can mark it. Those of you that are truly virtual conference, you are dismissed. And I'll stay back to answer any questions you may have. I hope you have a great week and until we continue our conversation next time. All right?
Thank you so much, Professor. See you next week.
Thanks, Christian.
Bye.
Great way. I'll go ahead and stop recording. And
attendance.
oh, do I need to take someone's attendance? Who else is attendance?
Review.
I cannot hear who? Wow, there's a lot more people in there in your class than was when I took attendance.
Professor
Okay.
Shahid Abdullah.
Abdullah, did you come in late?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good night, Abdullah. Okay. I'm gonna try to do this so I don't get cut off with all the wind. Abdullah, are you a virtual conference student or?
I'm a hybrid student, Professor.
Okay, hang on. Let me just share my screen. You tell me. I do not see your name, so hang on. Tell me when the screen shows up, okay?
Okay, Professor, I just text you.
You just text me? Oh gosh, I forgot to tell class. Okay, when you text me, I don't always know what class you're in, and I don't have a record of it. So I prefer you email me, but okay. Oh, Simon.
Yeah, Simon.
Okay. I didn't even hear that Simon part. Okay.
Yeah,
You see my screen right now?
Shadin
Yeah, I'm on screen. Yeah.
You are? Okay. Wait. Do you see my attendance screen or do you not?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
Okay, good. So Simon, you're late. Why am I not able to do this? Okay, I don't know why. I'm just going to mark you because it's not letting me. But late. So anyway, okay. Who else did I not mark?
Thank you.
Rabiul,
Spell it for me.
Rabiul, Raviul.
Okay, tell me when you see it. Okay.
Yeah, Professor Shadin Abdullah, I saw this.
I was going to mark him here. Okay. Um. You see it? Oh, right here, for real?
Not, yeah, this one, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Good. Oh my gosh, you guys, do me a favor, upload your photos. Thank you for your photo, Rabiel.
Okay, ma'am.
Anyone else?
Professor Shadin Abdullah.
Okay, Shadina and her. I thought I was supposed to mark you. Okay, what was the name again?
Harmanpreet Kaur. It's right there.
Oh, right there. Okay. Okay, who else?
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
Professor Shadin Abdullah.
Abdullah.
Yeah,
Right
that
here?
Yeah, Shadin Abdullah.
I don't know why lecturing is not hard for me, but doing attendance is the hardest thing.
There is every. It's over there.
Okay, one second. Let me stop recording so I'm not recording this part. Oh gosh. Give me a second.
Professor, Babli
Hello, ma'am.
Hang on.
I texted you on a.
You text me?
Yeah, I'm Keshav.
Give me 1 second. What?
And it's every in the screen. I can't see my name.
Okay. Who is it that I didn't get?
Embry.
Emery. Emery,
Yes.
you're here today. Is this your? I haven't seen you.
I am.
Well,
I'm sorry about this.
I'm glad you're here. Okay, who else? Is
Keshav.
Is Omar here?
Yogesh.
Omar here? Simon. I don't have Simon. I don't have Ibad. Yes, Bella.
Simon? She got says Simon.
Oh, Simon, I thought you just messaged me. No?
Yeah, I messaged you.
Okay. Here.
Yogesh.
You already marked me, I think.
And
Professor, Babli Sultana.
I'm sorry. How you say it on your side does not come clear to me on this side. So if you see your name, just yell out, I guess. Rabul, I got you. Okay. Yogesh?
Yes, sir, Yogesh.
Yogesh, I sent you a message. I did send you a message.
I text you already.
Okay. Yogesh? Oh, here it is. Okay.
Yes.
Ishad. Ishad, what am I not? Oh, here it is. Okay. Who else? Is Fatima here? Minji? Mir?
केशव चलते हैं
भाई हुआ बने भाई.
Who else?
तुमने टेक्स्ट नहीं ना वो करते हैं.
Anybody else, you guys?
Yes, ma'am. That's Babli Sultana.
Oh, I know your name. Good to see your face. Probably? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, is there anyone else I missed?
Keshav.
No, I got you. You just texted me, right?
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I did get you. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Hey.
Looks like I can go. Thank you very much for the lesson.
Oh yeah, thank you for your comments. You can read it.
Bye.
Have a great week.
Have a great week.
Hi, Professor.
Yes.
I need to tell you something that I don't have the book, so that's why I couldn't do the discussion questions.
And what is your name?
1 and week 2.
What is your name?
I'm the Sajid.
How do you spell that?
I'm DSAZID.
Oh. This one? Can you see?
No, you are not sharing the screen anymore.
Oh. MD. Last name Rifat, right? RIFAT?
No, it's Hussain.
Oh. Wait a second. Oh. So, how can I help you?
If I get the book, then if I submit it late, is it fine?
Yes.
All right.
The sooner the better.
Yeah.
I'll
get it as soon as possible.
I was telling you that you doing the assignment meets the requirement of the class.
Mm-hmm.
To me, for my students, the discussions we have in class sometimes are more valuable to me.
Okay? I get it.
Yeah. So do your part in there and submit it to me. I'll accept it because I have to do something in my part too, which is getting the solutions and finish grading it. So I'm working on that myself. So you turn it in. What I don't want you to do is to do 3 or 4 weeks worth in 1 week. You cannot retain the information, right?
Yeah.
So
That's
that's what I'm more concerned about. Okay.
all right.
Yeah. But when I grade it,
Yeah.
there's something when I'm grading it, you tell me if it's not graded. Because sometimes when it's past the date and you submit it, I don't know. I have to go back to there to look. So you have to message me and tell me, hey, Professor, I just submitted discussion 1 or 2. Then I'll go in there. But if you submit it, you don't tell me, I don't know to go in. Okay?
All right, Professor.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Any questions? Well, it's just me in the class right now. It's so hard to read you guys in the class because you're far away. But amuse me. Tell me, did you understand what I said about the candles?
Yeah, Professor, we did understand that. Actually, we understand everything that you say in the class. So the problem is just the discussion questions.
Yeah. The discussion question, I agree. I didn't do the syllabus. So, yeah, I agree. And I'm working on it. Okay. So my question is that if you haven't done the discussion question, is it because you don't have a book?
Yeah, Professor, that's why that's because we don't have the book. Like most of the students in the class, they don't have the book. I don't know.
Because they can't they can't locate to purchase it, or what's the? I can tell you that half of the class are submitting in their work.
Okay, so that girl Natalia Mohammed, maybe she has the book. So is it possible for you to share her email maybe with me, so I would be able to text her and ask her about the book, or it's not like I have it.
So my question is that in your Moodle, do they not tell you who the other students are?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so, Professor.
Okay. Okay. Well, I didn't know that. Usually some classes, they tell you, they would tell you who your class is and sometime an email. So have you, here's the thing, even if I share with you, I did do a screenshot. Give me a second. Ugh. I did a screenshot of the chapter 3. But you know, for me to just copy, take a screenshot of the questions for the discussion questions you need. There's so many pages. I don't, and sometimes you have to go back to a previous chapter, a previous section. So even for me to screenshot it for you, I don't know if it helps you.
I know it's going to be a lot, Professor, and it will also be confusing for us. We will be able to understand which question belongs to which chapter.
Yeah. Actually, in chapter 3, the comprehension question for this week's chapter 5, the syllabus reference a page number. I went to that page number and it's not there. It's not that page. So I know.
Exactly. That's why I joined back. I wanted to ask the comprehension problems question. Like when I went to that page, the question is not
It's
there.
not there. I know.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to grade too because I'm like, what the heck? Okay, so I'm working on it. Do what you can. I think your other one, the chapter 5, 1A, whatnot. You know why? I think that sometimes the editions are different. I mean, I have the edition that we're supposed to be on. I know this doesn't help your situation right now, but we are changing textbook. But I have to get you through this class. Okay, so I will accept the work that you get, but you have to promise me to try to get the book because it just gets harder. I mean, you have 8 weeks of work. every week, that's quite a bit of work. I mean, as a student, I wouldn't want to be 3 weeks away, 3 weeks behind. That's so much work, right? So,
Yeah, I mean,
um,
I did the questions, all there's two DQs over there. So one of them I did it like I saw the question and the page number, I found the question and I did it. But
yeah, week 1 and 2 was okay. This week, I noticed that the page doesn't even match up. So,
mm, all
so
right.
instead of going with the page number, like five is chapter 5, and the question is 1A. So just flip
Oh,
your
okay.
pages and look for 1A. So don't go
Oh,
off the page number.
got you. What about the comprehension
I
problem or
couldn't find it. I know.
yeah,
So,
should we just keep it empty or write something on the reply on the chat box? Should we write just discussed on class? So we
okay.
should not keep it
Uh,
empty.
you know what? Actually, I found the screenshot for that. Um, I'm gonna post that screenshot for
All
those that
right.
have to look. Just the page so you can look for it, okay?
Yeah.
But it
Just the
was
question so we can, yeah,
yeah, because it was not on the page that it referenced. So
got
yeah,
you. All right.
okay. But thanks for your comments, Mohammed. It makes my class much more enjoyable for me.
Thank you for that.
I don't really like,
Um,
I don't like to hear myself talk, but um, you know, I appreciate that.
no
Okay.
problem. Thank you for that.
I will post that for you. So do you have a plan on getting the book, or do you not have the link?
I can find it. So I was just asking if somebody in the class has the book, that maybe they can share it with me or something like.
Um, when they share it with you, I don't know if they have an ebook, if they have a physical book, and if you guys
I
are
I have an ebook, but I think my ebook is a old edition. But I can find the question. It's a little bit harder, but I
Yeah,
can find the question. Yeah.
Mohammed, you have to make sure the questions are the same, because sometimes it's like 5A1, but it's not the same question.
All right. I will make sure, and I will try to get the
Find
10th.
someone to find someone to match up the question, okay? Because
All right.
they changed the edition because they changed some of the questions.
Yeah, I actually checked with it, but I think I found it, but in the next page, sometimes it has addition pictures and introduction and all the stuff. But I
Okay.
will make sure and confirm and see. Yeah, if it doesn't match, I will get the new edition and then yeah, I can share the new edition too.
Yeah. So, can I get your name again?
My
Yes.
it's Harkiran, Harkiran.
Oh, Harkin, I think you messaged me before.
Yeah, I did. I texted you earlier, Professor.
Okay.
Someday maybe. Yeah.
Harkin, okay. I'm gonna let Natalia know
Yeah.
and ask her to connect with you. Okay.
Sure, and maybe I have a request to Muhammad if he can share the book with me, even if it's old. I just want to have the book at the moment, and like
Okay.
Yeah, I can share that.
yeah, that would be really great.
Where can I share it to in your email?
Maybe you can give me your email and
Yeah,
I'll text you. Let me
sure.
just yeah, just give me a second.
So, Mohammed, in your Moodle, can you not click on your classmates? Who's in the class?
I can click the classmate, but I think the personal information is no
Ooh,
it
not
doesn't
personal
show.
information, but you guys all have an IAU email.
Yeah, I think so. Let me see.
I just want to make sure you guys have the resource you need outside of me.
So okay.
Mohammed, are you in LA right now? Or are you
Yeah,
okay?
I'm about to leave to San Diego, so about couple of maybe an hour.
I think the winds heard you were coming, so they stopped. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, yeah.
can
Uh,
you share your email, please?
yeah, sure. It's Abdullah. It's ABDULLAH
B D U L L A H
dot
dot
Ibrahim. It's IB